Hi, Johnny. What's your favorite scene in Devil May Cry 4 when you were playing Nero?
My favorite scene? Man, there's so many. There are a lot of cool scenes in there. But one of my personal favorite moments would be when he's inside that weird dreamlike state, and he sees Kyrie there, and he can't get to her, and he feels like he's gonna fail her. In that moment, when he's crying out to her, that's probably one of my favorite moments. It was actually a really nice moment too, like, because it looks cool when they've animated it. It's like, wow, it's pretty sweet, you know. But then when you're there and you're just trying to like it, we were in just this giant warehouse, you know, and there's just a bunch of Japanese guys standing around, you know, and so I'm just standing there in that room, and I'm doing the scene, I'm crying out to her and screaming, and then at the end of the scene, like nothing. There's nothing. And I was like, oh man, they must have hated it. And then they were like, oh. I was like, oh, so all right, cool. So it felt good. Like I didn't do a lot of theater before doing any acting stuff. You know, and on Power Rangers or anything else I've ever done, nobody's ever been like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. Or even in voiceover, nobody's ever like, that was great. Or I mean, they say that's great sometimes, but they're never like, cheer you on or anything. But that was like being on stage, so you have a bunch of Japanese guys, you know, cheering for it. And so, yes. There you go. You need like a bright like sign that's like.
If you could live as one of your favourite characters, like one of the characters that you've played, like who would you live as?
If I could live as one of my characters?
Yeah.
Who? Oh man, I don't know. Yukimura? Oh my goodness, I don't know if I would want to be him. Be a lot of shouting, your lordship. I think I would pick Vash. I think I picked Vash because he's got a great outlook on life. He's, you know, it's love and peace, and you know, he loves donuts and he doesn't get fat from them. I don't know. I just like the character, you know, a positive character like that. Yeah.
I want to know, who would you prefer Ichigo to get with, Rukia or Orihime?
Alright, oh boy. Wait, the Japanese voice actress Rukia is here, right?
Yeah, tomorrow, I think.
Rukia.
Yes!
That's my answer.
Rukia.
Although Rukia's a dead chick. I'm just saying. Alright, that's all I'm saying about it. Yes.
If there was like a character you were offered, like, you know, we want to explore this character's future and where they may go, what character would you like to explore, like where they may go as a character, like from like what you filmed it like in the life?
Oh, like one of the characters I've already done?
Yeah, like a character you've already done, and like, you know, which character would like, oh actually I would like to see what they're like in 10 or 20 years, and you know, explore their decisions and how, you know.
Well, I don't know, it's tough. That's a good question. There's a bunch of them actually. I would like to see what Vash would be like 10 years. Even Ichigo, or if they continued it and caught up with the manga. You know, yeah, I mean, I'll just pick those right there. How much time do I have in here? Do you know? You don't know? Are you not in charge? They just throw you up here? They're like, yeah, Fiona, go do some stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Yes.
What's been the highlight of your career so far?
Highlight of my career? Huh? So far? Gosh. I don't know. Again, it's been a lot of different moments, you know, like there's like, like Power Rangers, that whole time I was there, that was a great moment, you know, and then getting into voiceover has become this really cool thing, you know, and even being able to do some independent stuff, films here even a little more recently, is pretty cool. I don't know, I think just the fact that I'm still able to work, I mean, I really thought, like, after Power Rangers that I wasn't going to have a job again after that. In fact, in that, after, I couldn't get a job, basically, because I am a half Asian. I don't know if you can tell. Early in the mornings, you're like, that guy's Asian. I'm like, hey, guys. But that's racist, sorry. Half of me is offended by that. Yeah, like at that time, it's like, I mean, for me to go in for a role, that like I was always sent out for the Asian character, right? So if I go in and there's another guy walks in and I was like, oh, hello, you know, then I'm not going to get it. That Asian guy is going to get it over me. And same thing if I go in for like a Caucasian role, I'm like, well, I'm questionable, you know? I'm like, what are you, Mexican? Like, oh, come on. And so, yeah, so it was hard for me at that time, after Power Rangers especially, to get a job. Now with independent films on the rise and stuff like that, I can sneak into things a little easier. But at the time it was very hard, and so I went through a bit of a depression. I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I ended up basically teaching myself to play the guitar and started a band. And my band is still going, but called iShine, EYESHINE.net, shameless plug. Yeah, so, you know, luckily, I guess, I mean, I've just been, I don't really believe in luck, but I was very fortunate to stumble into voiceover. So, I don't know, there's a lot of moments throughout my career that have been really cool.
Hi, first of all, I'm a really big fan of the Power Rangers because I watched it a lot as a kid. And second, a few of our friends are actually going to be cosplaying Power Rangers in the future.
Nice.
If you could see like anybody cosplay one of your Power Rangers that you didn't play, who would you like to see as a Power Ranger?
Which generation that I was in? Well, I feel like I see Black Ranger all the time, which is cool. I'm not opposed to that, or the Ninja. But I'd like to see, I've only seen one Zeo before. I've never seen a Turbo, a green Turbo, but I wouldn't mind seeing more Zeo. But I'll accept, or if it was like my color helmets, but in one, which would probably be pretty impossible. But I challenge you, some crazy cosplayer out there, to do that.
Hi. You've been cast as Olga, the sort of big brother type in Gundam Iron Blood Orphans.
Olga, yes.
What's been your experience of that so far? Because, as you said, background Ranger, he's a very central character. He's one of the only nice guys in the whole setting. What's been your experience?
Olga? Voicing Olga? You know, it's actually been a lot of fun, and one of the cooler things for me is that it's a Gundam. I've never been in any Gundam series, you know, so that being the first one, aside from, like, I got two different, I got Daryl and Thunderbolt as well. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, he's a really cool character, and my biggest thing, the hardest thing I noticed is like when I was watching, because I did a little research on it just to find out a little more, because I didn't know too much about even just Gundam, you know. And then I watched it, I'm like, man, we always get this, you know, if it's an anime, people have already seen it, you know, and so they're going to want to hear a voice to match that, you know, and that guy is a little deeper than me. So I didn't, you know, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know. And so basically all I did, I'll tell you, as I drive to work, I shout. I just shout like street signs as loud as I can, full screams, you know, for 30 seconds, like, until I pass out driving. And then I go in raspy for that role, just to kind of fit into the right tone, at least. kind of, but more for me, it's the attitude of the character. I love playing the character. I love the character in general, and so yeah, that's my main focus is just the acting of the character. But I love the world. We're not done with it yet. I'm still working on it. But have you seen Thunderbolt? That one's a bit darker, but that one's pretty cool too.
Hey there. Was there any characters in your career whilst voicing that have lines that you've gotten really fed up of repeating over and over again?
You mean like Bankai, or this world is made of love and peace, or it's morphin' time? No, I don't get tired of that. I actually don't get tired of it. I get tired of shouting, basically, because a lot of times I end up having to shout like Bangai or Tetsuo or something like that, and then it hurts my throat, and that's not cool. Yeah, I mean, it gets old, but it's part of the gig, right? You gotta accept where you come from.
Just wondering, do you talk to yourself in lots of different characters, or every now and then just kind of chat?
Do I look like a crazy person to you?
Not at all, no.
I don't usually know, unless I'm trying to find the character. Like I'm working on Yokai Watch now, and that's a younger voice. So a lot of times, I think a lot of actors do this. They have like a phrase or something that gets them back into the character. And for me, like for Nate, it's just, my name is Nate Adams. No, and then I'm like, okay, that's where he is. Okay, and then I kind of have where he's at voice-wise. No, I don't usually talk to myself.
If you had to pick one, who would be your anime waifu?
My anime wife?
I don't know why I asked that. Pick one.
I don't know, man. Top 5. I don't. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna bring my answer. Yeah, can I sleep on it and bring my answer tomorrow? And this requires some thought. My wife? Come on. This takes some thought. Huh? Can I combine personalities?
I'll be here tomorrow. You can answer.
Oh boy, I don't know. Could I combine all the sailors together into one wife? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
2 questions. Have you seen any Team 4-star stuff? And second question, would you ever consider doing a parody with any other sort of voice actors?
You know what? I haven't watched a lot, but I know I've come across it before. Someone has sent it to me before. And I'd probably be up for doing some stuff. Yeah. Not opposed to any of that.
Back to your when you're filming for Sword Art Online 2 with the Gongel arc.
Yeah.
How did it feel when you played Asuda's friend to change from this really cheerful guy to being, oh my god, I need you right now, I need you right now, sort of. To change your voice and your personality in a matter of a few seconds.
Right within that scene, to become kind of a psycho, almost rapist.
Yeah.
It was weird. Not gonna lie. It was kind of an awkward thing to do. I mean, that was the character, so you just get into that character and you just, I don't know. It was, I have to admit, it was kind of fun to play sort of going crazy, it was kind of fun but gross at the same time. Yes. Oh, yes.
Hi. So when you get into the booth doing your voice acting, did you get a lot of opportunities to improvise, or did you just stick to the script?
It depends on the show. Sometimes they do want you to just stick to the script, but usually if it's a director that I've worked with before, or producers and they've brought me in on something, then yeah, there's some freedom. And usually usually I'll offer an idea, or I'll just do it, but then at the same time, a lot of us just we just make up just jokes throughout the whole thing, because sometimes even when you guys watch anime, you're like, that's silly, or that scene is ridiculous, and we feel the same way, and we usually make fun of it with our dialogue. And usually they don't keep that stuff. But but there's some improv. I can mention one in Bleach. There was a moment when Ichigo walks into that wherever hideout where the visors were at, and they're like, "Oh, you finally decided to join us." And in the script and in the Japanese, Ichigo has 2 flaps, and he's like, "No way." And instead of me saying "no way," because I felt like that was kind of a weak response to that, I was like, "Bite me." And Wendy Lee, who was directing, she was like, "Okay." So yeah.
The Sunnycon Facebook page, I put one in a skit that you did, where you beat up the staff, convention staff members. I was wondering how many people did it, and what, does it just mean there are not as many convention staffs as I remember?
Wait, they posted, for Sunnycon, they posted a video of me beating up staff members? Which one was it?
I know it was with... Wait, why are you asking which one is it?
There's a couple of them. There's one where I just punch like a whole... Okay, so there's 2 videos. One is like this... Is it the Asian guy that constantly comes towards me? Is that the one? Okay, so that was like the guy just came up to... He's like... He's a stunt performer, and he's like, "Hey, is it cool if we just shoot like this random weird video of how not to approach you?" And I was like, "Sure." And so yeah, we had these different scenarios where he would approach me, and I would either hit him or whatever, which was fun. I thought you were talking about the other one. There's another one where I had a panel like this, and for whatever reason, people were kind of late. And so at the end of the panel, I said, "Everybody line up." And then we filmed it, and everyone was walking by, and I just like punched them. I punched like every person. You can look it up, it's on YouTube. Johnny punches, I even punch a baby, I think, at one point. but you gotta have a baby in there.
So obviously, you were Ichigo in Bleach. Did you enjoy doing the fillers, or did you just wish it stuck to the story?
Yeah, I mean, I wish it stuck to the story. I did. But some of our fillers weren't as bad as, some other shows. But they, I would rather it stick to, the story and get on with it.
Who do you think would win in a fight, Adam or Tommy?
Adam or Tommy? Well, gosh, let me see. The fearless leader of Power Rangers was the White Ranger, get all the special stuff for the background Ranger. Adam. Almost say Adam. But in the world of Power Rangers, it'd be Tommy. Hands down. I mean, that's why he's the leader. Does it sound like, that wasn't you? Is that not you? What is that? It's like somebody, doesn't it sound like somebody's going... Hey Johnny, whenever you talk...
Maybe.
It wasn't you either. I was looking right at you, and you're just like... I was expecting to see you. I didn't see that, so... Alright, yes.
Okay, so like, you obviously voice quite a different sort of array of characters. Do you have any sort of like rituals for getting into character with any of them?
Well, Oriya, I shout. Any younger, like Nate or any of those kind of thing, depending on if it's like a raspy kid or if it's not, like I'll hum. It just depends, just to, especially in the morning, you got to do a lot of like vocal warm-ups. Otherwise, you're gonna walk in and start talking. So you got to clear your pipes a little bit, but I don't do I don't have like a ritual. It just kind of depends on the character specifically, and I usually, you guys hear that? You hear it, right? Yeah. Okay.
What is your favorite scene from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Also, you got voicing Jonathan.
My favorite scene from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. First off, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is very bizarre. Alright, my favorite scene is when he's fighting, what's his face? And I think he was just ahead at that point. I can't remember. JoJo throws like, this is how ridiculous the show is, which makes it very entertaining. But JoJo throws a rose at him, and he's like, for like 5 minutes. Not that long, but it's like a minute. And I'm like, it's a rose. It's a rose. Come on. But that was my favorite moment. Yes.
I was wondering if it was hard to do Ichigo's and Hollow Ichigo's voice.
Ichigo? Well, Ichigo basically is just like me. Hollow Ichigo, not too much, just real quick, the difference is, I found the differences, I pitched a, who am I? That's more Hollow Ichigo, right? In the fighting, in that first arc at least, Ichigo is very rough in his grunts, real kind of earthy tones, but Hollow Ichigo is little in there, I don't know how to explain it. It's a little higher and a little weird. Yes.
Okay, so I was going to ask you to make an evil of sinister laugh for me, but you basically just did that.
Alright, sweet.
Yeah.
Should I just tell a story?
Yeah.
Before I have to leave here? I'll finish off with a story. Alright, so let me ask you this. Have any of you guys heard the quarter story? Or my quarter story? No? Okay. Alright, well I'm going to tell this story to you guys, and you guys are going to walk away thinking I'm an idiot. It's a true story. Okay, so you guys know what a quarter is though, right?
Yeah.
It's like our coin. It's our 25-cent piece. And so, alright, so the way it works when I go to work, I have to take a freeway. It's like 30 minutes, 45 minutes for me to get to work. Obviously, I have to take the freeway to get home. And there's an exit, like the off-ramp, right? And then at the end of that off-ramp, there's a street light. And down by the corner, there's always some homeless guy that I usually ignore. And I make a left to go under the overpass, and I head on home. And so this one day, I exit the freeway, and it's a red light, and there's like 4 or 5 cars in front of me. And so it's like from me to probably this wall over here. It's a good distance away, 4 or 5 cars in front of me. It's a red light, and behind me pulls up this monster truck. I don't know if you guys have a bunch of those out here, but we have them. And this monster truck pulls up behind me, and it's just like, when I can just feel the vibrations rumbling throughout the earth in my car, and I in my head, my mind, I can, as soon as that turns green, it's going, it's like monster madness. She's gonna run over us. And so I have this weird panic going on in my head, and I'm like, dude, as soon as this turns green, you guys better go, because this guy's gonna run us over. And I have this like Ziploc bag with carrots in it left over from lunch. I'm just kind of scarfing, that's like my last supper, scarfing them down before this guy runs us over. And I look over expecting to see, like on this corner, as I mentioned, there's always some homeless guy on the corner. Not the same guy, but always a homeless person. And some dude always there on the corner, and I usually just ignore him. Not that I do that all the time, but like in my car it felt weird, I'm like seat belted in, and I give them money, what if they try to jack me? I'm like stuck, I felt weird and vulnerable. So I just ignore them. I look, expect to see some homeless guy there, and I see a homeless woman. And my heart just went out to her. I was like, oh man, this could be my mom, I need to do something for her. And in LA, where I live, you have to pay for parking everywhere downtown. And so my cup holders are full of quarters. And so I just finished these carrots, and so I have this empty Ziploc bag, and I'm thinking, Johnny, do this. Let's do this. Scooped up all these quarters and put them in the Ziploc bag. And now I have like about a 3-pound bag of quarters in my hand that I'm going to give to this woman who's going to go change her life. And so, I've never done this before for my car. I don't know how it works. You know, I just assume I hold my hand out and she'll come get it. So, I roll down the window, and I hold out this 3-pound bag of quarters. And she's like, again, like me to this wall. And she has her sign and she sees me. She's like, oh. She puts her sign down and she goes like this. And I'm like, what? Wait, I can't throw that far. How's this working? I'm supposed to get out? I'm like confused. I'm not sure what to do here. And as I'm like thinking, wait, what? The light turns green. And these cars in front of me, these 4 or 5 cars, they must have felt this vibration from this guy, and they started taking off. So I'm like, well, I better start going, you know? And so I start going, and I look down, and I'm like going 25 miles an hour with a 3-pound bag of quarters hanging out the window. And I'm like, wait a second, how's this exchange gonna happen? You know, I'm coming up on her pretty fast. She's not a football player, I can't just throw it in her gut, and she's got it, no good, you know? What if she holds on to it too long, and I drag her under my car, or I hold on to it too long, and I get pulled out, and I die. So I'm like freaking out, I don't know what's gonna happen here. I can't stop now, because Monster Madness guy is right on my tail. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? And then I had this moment of clarity, this epiphany. I'm like, Johnny, you're a martial artist. It's just the timing, just focus. And so I thought, 25 miles an hour, 3-pound bag of quarters, all I have to do is this. And I'll watch it gracefully land into her hands. So there I am, going 25 miles an hour, approaching this homeless woman with a 3-pound bag of quarters out in the car. And I'm like, ready, Johnny? And now, and I release. And if you've ever been in an accident, time slows down. And I think God is upstairs, and he hits a slow motion button. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa! Slow motion. Jesus, Moses, grab some nachos and popcorn. This one's gonna be good. This one we play when he dies. I'm going to show him this one. And so there I am. I release. And I watch as this 3-pound bag of quarters flies through the air. At 25 miles an hour. 3-pound bag of quarters crashes into her face. The bag rips open. She falls as the quarters fall, glistening in the sunlight. And the only thing I can do is this. No! I'm going so fast that I screech around the corner. It's like a drive-by quartering from any other perspective. There's nowhere to turn around to make sure that she's alive or anything. It's a true story. So I just kept driving home like this, feeling dirty and incomplete. So if there's a lesson to be learned here, guys, don't give homeless people money while driving your car. That's a true story. And don't clap at that. Because, okay, so before that day, as I mentioned before, there's always some homeless guy on that corner. But after that day, never again. And that is not a lie. I promise you, that is not a lie. After that day, there's never been a homeless person on that corner again, ever. I drive by there every single day and wonder, what happened to her? Is she alive? Should I put a white cross here? I have no idea, but in my mind, I visualize like these homeless guys around a barrel fire under a bridge. Hey Bob, how's it going? Hey, where's Sally? Oh, you didn't hear? She's dead. Some guy killed her with quarters. We had just enough to bury her. Poor Sally. True story. Anyways, that's it for my time. Thank you guys so much. I have autographs, I think, somewhere in the world here. But thank you guys so much. Yong Bosch, I'll see you guys out there.
Thank you guys.